Hi everyone, I'm Jen and this is the News at Jen for Monday, May 10th, 2021. How are you? Great, I'm glad to hear it. It's National Clean Up Your Room Day. Did you? That's okay, I didn't either. It's also National Small Business Day, so help me by liking and subscribing. I don't think I'm going to get to 300 subs by the end of May, and that's okay, but every little bit does help. And if you can help keep the News at Jen afloat, I'd appreciate your patronage at patreon.com/genderbent. Our top news story is that the 4 officers at the center of the George Floyd murder have been indicted federally for their various actions and lack thereof during the day that Floyd died. They acted with quote-unquote deliberate indifference. However, upon closer inspection, it's been determined that these people are actually just murdering fuckwads. There's also additional charges placed upon Derek Chauvin for actions he took back in 2017, which goes to show you that sometimes rotten apples have been festering for a long time. Fester, it means to rot. Next up, Senator Lindsey Graham, showing here the amount of enthusiasm permissible by South Carolina law, has a message for the GOP. What that message is, nobody can quite tell. But he said that the Republican Party could not grow without Donald Trump. When contacted for comment, Mr. Trump said that he could not recall being composted and being used for fertilizer. Unfortunately. A weaker than expected job growth report for April triggered concerns in economists that they failed to realize that poor people are capable of doing basic math. In the starting revelation, people who are unemployed and who are receiving more money than they would at a minimum wage job are making the rational economic choice. Why would you go to work for a job that would pay you less than staying at home? Especially a job that offers nothing. When will the job creators learn their lesson? No, they won't. Keeping with tradition, they will not. It will be the people who don't want to work for a pittance's fault instead of a de facto general strike. Anyway, in litterbug news, China. A 10-story rocket piece crashed down somewhere in the Indian Ocean on Sunday, around where the Maldives are. Or maybe it was at Saturday night. Time's a little unclear, especially with all these wacky time zones. The precise point of where the space debris landed is unknown, but you can be sure that your mom read about it on Facebook and was sure that part of it landed on her Dodge Neon. In voting news, Texas and Florida are the latest states to adopt quote-unquote strict voting security measures. Now, before you judge, the Republicans say that some guy named Lincoln was a Republican over 150 years ago, which isn't really that long if you think about it. The law in Texas is of note because it mentioned purity of the ballot box during an early draft. This was dissected quite well by another representative. Now I'll put that right here because it's quite embarrassing for the guy that put the language into the law.
You chose a peculiar term in drafting this bill, and you talked about preserving the purity of the ballot box. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a quotation from the Texas Constitution. It'd be Article 6, Section 4.
Right. And are you aware of the history behind that provision of the Constitution?
I'm not.
What was your motivation for using that term purity at the ballot box? Because that's a specific set of words that has a lot of meaning in state history.
Well,
what was your intention?
I'm going to answer for you. You know, you may have figured out by now, I really like the state constitution. And I think as a legislative body, just as Congress should, they should be looking for their authority from their charter, from the thing that gives them power. And so when we're looking at what authorizes us, right, the sovereign people of the state of Texas who delegated their authority through the Constitution, we then should look to the Constitution and say, what gives us authority to do anything on this issue? And that's the provision that does that. And so that would be why. Did you look at the history before using that word? No. The only thing, if we were to have a discussion, maybe over some coffee or drink something, I could go into the details of Article 1 really well. I've read the debates in the journals of the Convention of 1875 on that for that thing, but I'm not familiar with the the one on
You may have missed it then.
Article 6.
And this would have been very obvious, I think, to anybody who looked at that language. And that provision was drafted specifically to disenfranchise black people, black voters, in fact, following the Civil War. Did you know that?
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
And are you familiar with white primaries?
We've heard and read of such thing. I'm glad
you read about
it's
those?
a disgusting thing. Yes.
Did you realize that purity of the ballot box language in the Texas Constitution gave rise to all white primaries?
No, I didn't.
And did you know that this purity at the ballot box justification was also used during the Jim Crow era to prevent black people from voting?
No, those are troubling things. I didn't know that was their
Did you know that in states across the country that penal disenfranchisement schemes were put in place, including in Texas, as far back as 1845, to effectively lock African American people out of the political process? Are you aware of this history?
I think we said a few times that I wasn't aware of any kind of malicious intent in the use of that term.
Okay.
And the reason it was used is I looked at the Constitution because I believe our authority is derived from the people, and that's why.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Sometimes it's important to realize what the words you are using actually mean. Former staffers for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are reportedly participating in a support group. The governor, sitting here telling you how many nerves he has left and how many you're standing on, has a noticeably high turnover rate for staffers. I suppose it serves the staffers right after joining DeSantis' team. The governor's current staff also released a message saying that the governor was super great and all around the best human being to ever exist aside from Donald Trump. And even then it's kind of close, we promise. Yeah. There's a so-called audit of 2020 ballots in the Maricopa County in Arizona. And it's getting attention and not necessarily the good kind. Apparently the ballots are being inspected for bamboo, because auditors once heard that fake ballots were shipped in from some Asian country. And so you all know that if you're in Asia, you can only use bamboo, not cardboard or traditional wood or anything of the sort. What's amusing is that the people who think these conspiracies always insist on international shipping. Why couldn't the good old US of A throw our own elections? We've done it to other countries. What's so special about our own? Are they thinking that the United States does not have the expertise to throw an election in the United States? It's very, 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 very unfair to our proud CIA agents. In unfair sports news, the winner of last week's Kentucky Derby has been accused of doping. The horse, Medina Spirit, was found to have drugs in his system, and another set of fluids will be tested in the coming days. In light of the seriousness of the accusations, however, the horse has admitted to the doping. The Star Colt has issued a statement today that said, "I have disappointed my coaches, my colleagues, the fans, and most importantly, the small little horsies that look up to me as an athlete. No apologies will be enough to correct this indiscretion. It is me and me alone who is responsible for doping, and I hope that one day I can recapture the trust of the horse racing public. Thank you, and God bless." It's a stirring statement from the disgraced horse. It just goes to show you, before you judge, you should hear the words from Medina Spirit's mouth. That was an awfully long way for a shitty pun. In Looks Like a Duck news, some rocks on Mars have some scientists recalling wild nights at college. They claim that the puffball mushrooms may have been discovered on Mars. They hypothesize that the radiation-rich conditions on Mars may have spurred the development of these advanced forms of life. However, their main argument is that, man, the mushrooms here on Earth, they're told them there, man. Seriously, did you not? Really? This confirms everyone's suspicions. Nobody knows anything, do they? In entertainment news, Elon Musk hosted Saturday Night Live, and during his appearance on Weekend Update, he called Dogecoin a hustle. This caused the cryptocurrency to drop in value precipitously, thereby proving it is kind of a hustle. Musk also admitted he had what he calls Asperger's syndrome, which is now classified as part of the autism spectrum. Some have criticized him for calling it Asperger's syndrome, but people call themselves lots of things for various reasons. At least he didn't call himself the Doge Father. Oh, he did. Never mind. He also seemed to set up having this condition as an excuse. But if that doesn't work out, he still has billions of dollars. The News at Jen does, on occasion, independent journalism. And today, this includes stopping on the side of the road to take a picture. In this case, this one is a sign just outside of Janesville, Wisconsin, that says that the COVID vaccine is made from aborted babies. Which isn't true, because those things that are aborted are called fetuses. But even more specifically, tissue isn't used. It's just cells. It's cells that have been bred for over 45 years in one case. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines use fetal cell lines to confirm that they work. These cells, which were taken from fetal cell lines from an aborted fetus in 1973 in the Netherlands, are thousands of generations old. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines do not use them during manufacture. However, the Johnson & Johnson's ones do use cells during manufacture from an elective abortion in 1985. Almost. God, that's a long time ago. That's over 30 years ago. 35 years ago. And even the Catholic Church has said it. These are okay to use. So, really? Are we going to do this? Anyway, that's the News at Jen for Monday, May 10th. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you can, please join my wonderful patrons at patreon.com/genderbent, where we have occasional uncut video, scripts, and the like. Supporting that will also go to support queercoded.com, the site/company I'm starting up so I can support LGBTQ humor writers. That's it for now. I'll see you again on Thursday, May 13th. Until then, please remember, I love you.